There's no one here. I wasn't expecting a welcome mat, but still.
Lenegis's infrastructure is largely automated. Besides, people won't be expecting incoming traffic while the crown contest is still underway.
Do you think anyone realizes that we're here?
We may not have received a royal welcome, but I doubt our entrance went unnoticed. Don't let your guard down.
I really hope we don't have to fight anybody while we're here.
So now what? We've come all this way on a hunch that this red woman is here, right? And if we're lucky, the Renis Alma too. Any idea where we should start looking?
There is an area of the city that is accessible only to the sovereigns, known as the Forbidden Zone. That seems as good a place as any for us to start.
Forbidden? What are they hiding?
I don't know, hence my desire to find out. Fortunately, we just so happen to have a sovereign in our midst. In any case, changing the shape of a huge structure such as Lenegis would have required an immense source of power.
Then you think that source might have been the Renis Alma?
Precisely. Alphen said that he remembered the Renis Alma being used in the spirit channeling ceremony 3 centuries ago. Whatever the ceremony's purpose, if preparations are underway for it to be held once more, then the Renis Alma might be in the same place as last time, possibly together with the Red Woman. Hiding something of that worth in the residential quarters would only court trouble. In which case...
It stands to reason we should be looking somewhere normally out of bounds. Is that it?
Indeed.
But it's been over 300 years since I was made a sovereign. You can't seriously think I'll be able to waltz right into the place after all this time.
There's only one way to find out. If there's even a chance you can get us in, I say we give it a shot.
Shion's right. Who knows? We might even find a clue to her thorns while we're at it.
All right. It's not like we're swimming in leads, so let's try to track down the Forbidden Zone. Beyond that wall lies a city full of Renans. The capital city where Shion and Dohalim used to live, no less. Who knows what we'll find on the other side.
You know what? I changed my mind. Let's just fly back to Dahna. Let's get out of here. Something I've been wondering, what's up with Shion's family? I don't recall ever seeing them. They never bring up Shion's family. They only mention Naori from 300... Oh, just in my throat, 300 years ago. They don't ever mention Dohalim's family either, I'm pretty sure. They mention his name, obviously, that he comes from, like, a family that produces lords. Because I'm pretty sure all the lords come from high pedigree families and whatnot. But they never talk about Renan, like, close familiar relationships. So, honestly, what I kind of think, I guess this is kind of like my own headcanon, I think that Renans put a lot of stock in the family name, but they don't actually put a lot of stock in the family themselves. So I imagine that Dohalim and Shion probably just have very little to no interaction with their family members. Shion especially because of her thorns. They probably just have very little to no interaction with their family members outside of having, like, the family name, essentially, and, you know, bringing, like, etc., like, good reputation to their family, I guess, pretty much. But they don't really go deep on it in the game. They go deeper on Dahnan families where they can, with, like, Zephyr being Law's dad and Rinwell's parents having been killed by Almadri and all that. But also, there's another thing I'm thinking of that makes me think of why we don't really get into the nitty-gritty of, like, Dohalim or Shion's families in this game, but it would be a spoiler for people who are seeing this for the first time that is going to be brought up in the game very soon. So I don't want to go deep on it. But, basically, the other thing I think of is that the families probably don't have much actual interaction with each other because of the Red Woman, which for those of you who have played the game before, you probably know what I mean by that.
Thinking about what could be lurking out here is giving me the heebie-jeebies.
For such a loudmouth, you sure can be a worrywart at times.
Oh, I'm sorry. How stupid of me for wanting us to stay safe.
Would you two children stop squabbling? Or do you want everyone to know we're here?
So how many Renans actually live in this place?
I couldn't tell you exactly, though not as many as you might expect. Machines and Zeugles take care of most of the city's basic functions.
There's Zeugles out here too, huh? Sounds like we can't afford to let our guard down after all.
Well, you know, they probably make for good pets. I always figured Dohalim just doesn't get along with his likely racist family. Well, you gotta imagine that, like, when Dohalim went down to Dahna, right? Like, obviously Dohalim is a better person than the average Renan in terms of slavery and racism and all that. But you have to imagine, especially growing up, he wouldn't have been that far off from the rest of his family. So in terms of, like, Dohalim having interacted with his family, he probably did as much as any other Renan would have growing up until he ended up down on Dahna. Because even when he went down to Dahna, he still doesn't do everything out of just being a good guy, because he even says himself, like, you know, yeah, I've, like, made a nicer realm and all that, but at the end of the day, I was really just trying to stop the Dahnans from screaming and triggering my PTSD, is pretty much what he says. And obviously, we all know, and he figures out as the others tell him, like, well, yes, but you could have done other things instead, so you are still a good person, even though that was your initial motivation. Like, better than the average Renan. And if Dohalim actually was close to his family, like, if he actually interacted with them at all prior to going down to Dahna and becoming a lord and whatnot, he probably would have wanted to meet with some of them up here, or the devs would have brought it up or something, so, you know. I don't think that it's a specific, like, Dohalim is avoiding his family when he comes up to Lenegis because they're Renan, because that wouldn't make sense, because he still interacts with the Renans down on Dahna and trying to, like, get them to work at Menancia and be good to Dahnans and whatnot. Why would he not try to do that with his family up here if he actually was close to or cared about his family at all? Which is why, again, I don't think it has anything to do with Dohalim being like, oh, my family are mean Renans, I don't want to interact with them. All of the characters have kind of, at this point of the game especially, come to an agreement, like, we don't want to just take down the Renans. We want the Renans and Dahnans to coexist because we know it's possible. So it wouldn't make sense for Dohalim to be like, but not my family. My family, very bad, not them. I think at the end of the day, he just never interacted with his family much, which I don't think many Renans do at all. Again, totally my headcanon. I have no major basis on it.
Are you just going to keep standing around?
Shut up, Shion, I'm talking with my chat.
I'm just getting prepped over here.
I don't have any points to it other than, like, it's just my, like, how I would see it playing out based on the context the game gives us. So, you know. But anyways, open up. Oh, I love this music. This game's music is so good. One of my favorite OSTs. Lenegis ain't looking too hot.
What in the world?
This being Renan territory, I was prepared for a lot of things to look different. But this is a bit more than I anticipated.
The very foundations of the city have shifted. What could have caused this?
When Lenegis changed shape, it must have had an effect on the interior, too.
Maybe when they sent the wedge down to Dahna?
But they wouldn't move around the places where people live. These are their homes, right?
I would think the citizens themselves didn't have much say in the matter. Either way, locating the Forbidden Zone just became that much trickier.
Dohalim? Is that you?
Avakir, I'm glad to see you're well.
So it is you! But why are you here? Shouldn't you be down on Dahna participating in the crown contest? And these people!
So you haven't heard what happened on Dahna, then?
Heard what?
Someone you know?
An old friend.
Hey, Dohalim, don't tell me you've started keeping company with...
They're with me. More importantly, what's happened here?
I'm really not sure. The city's foundations began to shift without warning, and now everything looks like this. We're all waiting for the Sovereign to tell us what's happening, but so far...
Avakir, listen to me. We're looking for the Forbidden Zone. Do you have any idea where we might find it?
The Forbidden Zone? What business could you possibly have there?
Trust me. The less you know, the better.
You're just the same as ever. I wish I could help, but what with the changed topography, I can barely locate my own home. Let alone the Forbidden Zone.
Very well. It looks like we'll have to find the way there ourselves.
Have you seen Faria yet?
No.
I see. Well, nothing much has changed with her. If anything, she's probably even more...
I can well imagine.
Why did you come back? You know it can only result in pain for you both.
I've no doubt of that.
You really are the same as ever. Fine, I understand. Just don't say I didn't warn you. And take care of yourself. Okay, Do?
When he said, okay, Do...
So who's Faria?
Don't interrupt me.
Law?
If what Avakir said is true, it would seem the people of Lenegis are being kept in the dark about what's happening down on Dahna.
They seem to be just as clueless about what's going on up here in their own world. Despite the fact that it's actually here that the wedge originally came from.
We need more information. Let's talk to the citizens, see what we can find out.
While we're at it, we can ask them about the Red Woman, too.
And don't forget about finding the way to the Forbidden Zone either.
Let's leave the talking to Shion. We can't have a bunch of Dahnans poking their noses around.
Good idea. I think that's for the best.
I shall assist.
You sure?
Being a lord on Lenegis has its advantages.
Right. Then we'll leave it to you two.
Counting on the Renans. When he said, okay, Do,
Dads
all...
among us should probably keep our heads down.
What
Please.
if people freak out?
I shall explain it away by saying I'm leading you.
What are we, dogs?
Can you all shut up and let me make one joke? For the love of all that is holy? My goodness. Anyways. My joke's not nearly as funny now. Is Lenegis done for? The residential quarter is falling apart. Anyways, he said, okay, Do, and I just wanted to say, key. Okie dokie. Is all I could think of. See, it wasn't that. It would have been better in the moment. It wouldn't have been a great joke, but it would have at least, you know, without all the interruptions, it would have at least been, like, worth, like, a, huh. But instead, we're here now. Bunch of JRPG protagonists can't keep their mouths shut for, in, like, 28 seconds. I say as if I ever shut up. I wanted to look at something. Oh, right. We got those other outfits and I never checked them out, did I? Ooh, the red and silver is kinda nice. I still like the knight outfit more. But that's pretty good too. The dancing attire. Again, not as good as the morning attire, but also pretty good. This makes you look like you're from Avatar: The Last Airbender. Just like this one. This is you as a Fire Nation citizen. This is you as an Earth Kingdom citizen. It's really the part of your shirt that, like... What would you call that? Like, the long part of it that goes down past your knees? Like, that's Avatar: The Last Airbender style clothing. Like, straight up. This is even more of a Fire Nation outfit. Fire Nation, Earth Kingdom, Air Nomad. Yeah, don't have a water tribe equivalent, though, unfortunately. All right, what do we got going?
What could be so important? It's worth destroying people's livelihoods and homes in the process. It's just unbelievable. Uprooting an entire city as if it were mere building blocks. Someone's got an awful lot of questions to answer.
From how it looks, they must be siphoning off astral energy from Dahna, and then sending it to Rena.
But why do all this? What for? Surely they can't be using all that energy for the crown contest.
Whatever their purpose, disrupting their siphoning process alone won't be sufficient. Not while we still don't know what their endgame is.
He's right. We need to stop this from happening ever again.
This Forbidden Zone might be where we find some answers, right? So what are we waiting for? Let's get moving!
You heard him. You don't have time to stop and chat. Let's move.
We are going to stop and chat as many times as it. Hey guys, you want to stop and chat?
So, I've been wondering, do you think when Lenegis was built, it was even made with people living here in mind?
What do you mean?
Well, none of this happened by coincidence, right? They must have designed it to transform like this. But then, if they knew people were going to live here, you'd think they would have taken that into consideration, to avoid all this chaos.
Ordinarily, yes. You'd think so. Trust me, as far as we were concerned, Lenegis was our home, nothing more. No one knew about all this. It makes you wonder whether the city was just built on as an afterthought. But if so, to what exactly?
Sorry. That probably sounded weird, huh?
Not at all. Sometimes it takes an outsider's eye to help you notice what you've been missing all along. This place is a mystery, that's for sure. Something tells me we'll find answers where we're going, though.
Yeah, you're right, Shion. I'm sure we will.
I don't know. Do you think the JRPG will actually give us any answers? Kind of a toss-up. Yeah, I'll heal you. You're welcome. You owe me now. In all my years, never have I seen such potent healing arts. Thank you so much for taking the time to help an old woman like me. Oh, fancy parfait. I love having new recipes.
I know the basics of healing arts, but my skills pale in comparison.
Shion is built different canonically. Ah, another healer over here. Neat.
Oh, dear me. What an unspeakable mess this has all become. Just look at the state of our city. Even the Zeugles have stopped heeding our commands. Whatever did we do to deserve this?
You really have no clue what might have caused this?
Would that I have. Alas, there was no warning, no prior decree. His Highness must have deemed it unnecessary for us to know. We have no choice but to grin and bear it. But do my eyes deceive me? Could I really be standing in the presence of his lordship, Dohalim of the House Ilkaris? I believed he was on Dahna.
Your eyes do not deceive you. It is I, one and the same. I have returned to fulfill a special duty, the details of which I cannot divulge.
As your lordship wishes. First Lenegis mutates beyond recognition, now this unexpected visit. The Sovereign's plans are inscrutable indeed. The Ilkaris house has produced a great many lords over the centuries. I shall be praying for your victory in the latest crown contest.
Your good wishes do me an honor.
What a nice guy. What a nice dude. Right, this is the part where we get to hear about all of the different houses that the lords we've been fighting have come from.